Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. And it looks like there's going to be a civil war within the SNP. There are a lot of very unhappy, very angry Nats. And as you can probably tell from the thumbnail of this video, it's all down to Beryl. Stephen Flynn has announced that he's going to double dip. He wants to be an SNP MP and an SNP MSP. He wants to work both at Holyrood and Westminster. Now, they recently changed the rules that this could happen. They would allow it. That angered people. And now Flynn is going to do it. Now, notwithstanding the fact that the SNP have for years slated the likes of Douglas Ross for double dipping, for working as an MP and an MSP, and for many years having the rule that you could not do this, the question is now, why? Why, after all this time, is Stephen Flynn willing to do the hard work of being both an MP and an MSP? And of course, the answer is, it's obvious, isn't it? It's the only way he can become the leader of the SNP. Because Swinney is on his way out. They've got not a general election. They have the Holyrood elections in 2026. They want Stephen Flynn in Holyrood by any means whatsoever. And so he's unwilling to give up his MP-ship. On the other hand, he has to be at Holyrood to be the leader of the party. And so they changed the rules and he fills both roles. What a hypocritical twonk. Now, the SNP, and including Stephen Flynn himself, have long campaigned against this dual role for politicians. They don't like working in both houses. They say it divides your time, divides your attention, and you cannot fill your role for both constituencies. And of course, it's possible to be an MP for a constituency here and an MSP for a constituency over here. And so, where does your loyalty lie when it comes to constituencies and so forth? They don't like it. And that's why, of course, they kept having a go at Douglas Ross. Now, Flynn has announced that he intends to stand, obviously, in the 2026 Scottish parliamentary elections at Holyrood. Obviously. And he aims to unseat a sitting MP, a Labour MP, Audrey Nicholl in Aberdeen South and North Kincardine, with her only being elected in 2021. And she is the current convener of the Justice Committee. I don't know much about Audrey Nicholl. But, hey, he wants her gone. His announcement, of course, has already met with scorn, claims of hypocrisy, yells of shame, and pointed out that they were criticising Douglas Ross when he did this double jobbing task as well. So, yeah, absolutely. Moray councillor Jeremy Fernandez said, the people of Moray know very well that if you're an MP and an MSP at the same time, you can't do either job properly. Now, Flynn was lucky at the general election. He was one of those very, very few SNP that kept his job. I'm actually amazed. I am amazed that the people of Aberdeen and Aberdeenshire and the whole area gave so many votes to the SNP, knowing what's coming down the line. Because their whole existence will cease to be, given both the Labour and the SNP policy on oil. Are these people stupid? I don't think so. Or at least, there's a lot of people who aren't stupid. Unfortunately, the ones that are stupid keep voting for the SNP. And there seems to be a lot of them, so you don't know. He insisted he wants to keep his Aberdeen South seat at Westminster, but he wants also to go to this Kincardine seat in Holyrood. Now, Douglas Ross gave up his... I think he gave up his Holyrood salary to charity. So he only took the Westminster charity. It might be the other way around. Whatever, I can't remember which way round it was. That's why I was struggling there. Whatever one it was, he gave up one of his salaries to charity and lived on the other salary, even though he was fulfilling 2 jobs and entitled to both incomes. And that's absolutely fine. If that's there and he wants to give it to charity, I have no problem with that. If that's what he wants to do. That was a personal choice. I can see why he did it. It would otherwise look very, very greedy. Makes you wonder if Flynn will do the same. And the only reason I wonder that is because of the percentage that they have to give to the pot for the SNP. Will the SNP insist that he does take his salary so they can take their 15% of it into their funding? It's an interesting question whether he might come out and say, I'll give my, because of the optics, he might give my money to charity. The SNP and go, don't, we need the money, so who knows? Anyway, he wrote into the Press and Journal, and he said that he's throwing his bonnet in the ring. I mean, really, what a knob, saying it like that. He said, but he wants to battle for Scotland. Well, why? You spend so little time there, and when you are there, you don't do anything. I tell you what, just as an aside, I watched him at the Cenotaph on Sunday, and he walks up in that black suit he was in and laid the wreath. Didn't sing the national anthem either. I noticed that. Everyone noticed that. No singing of the national anthem. He could not even pay respect to those who died fighting under that national anthem. What a prick. Anyway, the clothes he was wearing, he looked like a Victorian undertaker. All he needed was a black top hat, honestly. And I just looked at him, I just thought, and for those who know, have ever read Charles Dickens, he looked like Uriah Heep. Oh, I'm ever so humble, Mr. Copperfield. It was, horrible man. I mean, I'm on a personal basis, I don't know, but he just looked a bit creepy, a bit insectivorous, Anyway, it's going to be brutal, I think, at Holyrood in 2026, because you've got to remember, there's all those SNP MPs who lost their seat at the general election. Well, they all desperately need to suck at the public teat. What else can they do? They're all sitting there unemployed and unemployable. And so they need to get back into politics. So there's going to be this brutal civil war, bloodshed, slit throats, as all these SNP politicians fight for the limited number of MSP seats. Who's going to give up? Are they going to say to some lowly worker, sorry, yes, it was your turn, but we've got an experienced man that needs to take this seat? How many of these are going to be happy? It's going to be wonderful to behold. There's going to be a lot of infighting. There's going to be a lot of dissent. There's going to be a lot of very upset and angry people. So all I say to you good people is bring it on, grab your popcorn, and let's watch, because this, over the next 18 months, for the SNP, it's going to be brutal. It's great, isn't it? Thanks very much. Let me know what you think. Bye.